Today I would like to share some notes regarding handling of typical VoIP telephony problems. Even if cloud telephony is extremely reliable and stable, problems or misunderstandings. So I hope this content will help you shorten the resolution time and improve satisfaction of your end users. The most typical problem is when people want to dial out and the number is not reachable. It can be also the other way around. People are trying to call you and your number or your company number is not reachable. The recipe for this is basically verification of your internet connectivity, and you need to make test calls. What helps also to understand and localize the problem is trying to use other devices other than this that the problem was spotted first. You should also try to see what is behavior of devices of your another colleague. See if the same happens if somebody else is calling. If the problem is still occurring, it's always good to check the cloud service provider status page. This is very popular nowadays and gives you clear indication if the problem can be associated with a service provider itself or it is still related to your network or your devices. If nothing can help you at this stage, you need to place a ticket, as numbers, when they are not reachable, are most often caused by interconnection problems between the operators, and only the service provider can fix those issues. Status page can be from Enphone Claudia, and you can clearly see that if all things are green, the operator systems are working, and there is a good reason to believe that you need to focus on your internet connectivity and user devices themselves. Well, sometimes problems are really simple, so some basic user settings need to be verified as well. Phones are silent when the Do Not Disturb button is pressed accidentally, which might disappoint some users. Also, many problems are related to the dialed number format. If it's not according to the specification of the service, the calls might go somewhere else. Some users, when they leave for vacation, they set up call forwards to their colleagues or to their mobile phones. And if such a setting is forgotten, then of course phones do not ring. Quite often, what can happen is then when you're entering a call forward from the keypad of your phone, you can really place wrong numbers. And such setting will not give you any alert. The calls will simply be forwarded to the wrong number. So you have to be very careful and you have to simply test call forwardings before they are activated or put in use. If a problem can be related to a hardware phone, just take those steps and you might solve the problem yourself, or at least localize the issue. So first of all, check that the internet connectivity is working at your desk. See that LAN cables are connected properly. Perhaps change the LAN cables and try another version. Test the device with power off, power on. If that doesn't help, another option is to make a factory reset. Of course, all the time, what is needed are tests of internal calls and tests of external calls. And when nothing can help and the service is still not available, you just need to place a service ticket, giving a good example of those test calls. If you're a SOFTPHONE user, RECIPY is a little bit different. Of course, you should always start with verifying internet connectivity. Good practice is to test what is happening when end user is logging out and in again. For browser applications, it's good practice to test the application in another browser, preferably in incognito mode. If installed, test the same service with installed application. Try to do the hard restart of your PC. And of course, verify that the latest application, the latest browser version is installed. Again, if nothing happens, you need to place a ticket. How to place a ticket? It's pretty simple, but you need an example. You need an example from today. The example should include date and time, who was calling, the phone number, who was receiving the call, which extension on your side was in use, describe what actually went wrong, and give this additional information on what was the type of the end user device. If telephony is important for your business, it deserves a business continuity plan. The single most important thing is internet access, and you need to provide redundancy. So you need to use at least 2 independent internet connections. It's important not only for telephony, but for any business related to internet access. It's good when your users can use more than one device. This assures certain level of redundancy as well. If the devices are soft phone, smartphone, hardware phone, then you can also gain redundancy of internet access when your smartphones use another operator for accessing internet and they don't need local area network for that. For hardware devices, good practice tells you that you need to keep some spare units. And in general, in all telephony applications, users should try to set forwards for emergency situations, forwards to their mobile numbers or to other telephone numbers which are independent from the service provider you are using. If your company has more than one location with more than one internet connection, more than one set of phone numbers, it's also good to set emergency forwards to those other locations. Another thing worth mentioning are the announcements that your employees cannot be reached, which are automatically activated whenever there are connectivity problems or device problems or any other issue. You should have a callback policy. That means that whenever missed calls are happening, you're collecting information about them and calling the customers back as soon as possible. They're always invited for deeper discussions with us. Look at our YouTube channel for more content on the telecommunications. Thank you very much for today.